Merab Dvalishvili, the machine, the UFC bantamweight champion. I gotta be honest with you guys, this guy's life story is one of inspiration. It was the inspiration behind this whole channel. Let's break it down right here. This is the life of Merab Dvalishvili. Merab was born in Tbilisi, Georgia, the capital of Georgia, on January 10th, 1991. Now, he was born when Georgia was still part of the Soviet Union, but a few months into his birth, Georgia did claim independence, so he grew up in the independent country of Georgia. A lot of excitement in that region at that time. Now, Merab was not born to a wealthy family at all, and he actually grew up in a very small village. Like many other children in the Caucasus region, Merab began his martial arts career in wrestling. Now, in his region, it's known as Kartuli Chireoba. My apologies if I mispronounced it, but this is traditional wrestling. After he developed his base in wrestling, Merab then developed his training in traditional fighting known as Kurdoli. He then also, as he got a little older, got into Sambo and Judo. He actually excelled in all of these, and there's pictures online of him receiving several different medals, and his Sambo and Judo career actually proved pivotal for him to move into mixed martial arts, especially at a later age. In 2019, the Republic of Korea held the World Sambo Championships, and Merab competed and took home the silver medal, just lost right in the final. You could tell he's got serious Sambo competitions. And several months ago, in June of 2024, Merab actually took a few days short notice and entered the US Open Sambo competition, and he actually won the gold medal. So he was all right this year's US Open Sambo champion. Now, Merab's love for martial arts at a young age just kept growing and growing and growing. As he got later into his teen years, he realized he wanted to go pro in martial arts. He wanted to make this a career, make this a living. That's what his love was. Now, Merab had two options. He could either stay in Georgia, pursue his professional career, or move to neighboring Russia, as a lot of fighters in that region do, and try to work his way up there. Or he could go for the ultimate. He knew his dream was to go to the top, the biggest profession. The UFC was his dream. He could move to the United States. Merab, being the machine that he is, he decided to go for the ultimate. So he immigrated to the United States when he was just 21 years old. Now, arriving in the United States, Merab really had to start from the bottom. He didn't have anybody. All he had to depend on was himself. He didn't have a job. He didn't have a place to live. All he had was himself and his hands. And the man went to work. This is where his story gets pretty inspiring. While Merab did have a degree in physical education back home in Georgia, obviously he didn't have the right work permits and teaching certificate to teach in the United States. So he found the next best option, put his hands to work. The man found a construction job and quickly started earning his living. As all construction workers do, the man Merab would get up early in the morning, go to work. He'd sometimes train at work during work, and at night would train and train and train and train. Doesn't matter the day, doesn't matter the weather. Merab got up, did the job, and still continued training. If any of you have any experience in construction, my father's a construction worker. It's a tough, physically demanding profession, mentally and physically. The fact that this man chased his dream, working construction day and night, while still attempting to train and save his money, is absolutely incredible. Let's not forget to mention, he did this in the northeast of the USA, in New York, Long Island. You know, the weather in the wintertime, it's very, very tough conditions. Snow, rain, darkness. He did it. He did it. Despite that, he continued training. He knew his dream was to make it to the UFC. He knew he needed to train to pay his bills and to pay for his martial arts training. To continue his martial arts training, Merab found Sarah BJJ in Huntington, New York. This is in Long Island. Now, Merab was fortunate to train under the leadership of Matt Serra and UFC great Frank Longo. Frank Longo helped Merab train his cardio and his stand-up fighting, while Matt Serra was fundamental in training Merab to improve his jiu-jitsu and his wrestling skills. While at this gym, Merab also has the benefit of training alongside other hardworking, talented individuals such as Aljamain Sterling. Under the guidance of Matt Serra and Frank Longo, Merab is now ready to take his professional career to a start. Merab made his debut in professional MMA on the Ring of Combat 47 in Atlantic City, New Jersey on January 24th, 2014. Now, as fate would have it, Merab would lose the match against Darren Mima in his debut against majority decision. He would come back in January of the same year, 2014, and he would get his victory against Dennis Dumbrau on TKO at Ring of Combat 49. Now, on November 1st, a few months later in 2014, he would make his debut for another promotion, Cage Fury FC 43. Again, Merab would lose his debut against Ricky Bandejas by decision, unanimous decision. Now, Merab would go on and achieve several victories in his next matches. He would have 5 straight victories before his big shot came. On June 2nd, 2017, Ring of Combat 59, Merab would have a fight against Rafion Stotts. Now, this fight would actually be showcased in the Dana White looking for a fight. Dana White was in the crowd and he was watching, and Merab was ready to impress. This was his dream, and he was ready to impress the big man. Rafael had his fight against Rafion Stotts, and in just 15 seconds, he won by spinning back fist. This was enough to impress the UFC president Dana White, and he quickly decided to sign Merab to a contract. So he signed his contract. His dream came true on June 2nd, 2017, Ring of Combat. But it wouldn't be so easy going forward with Merab. On December 9th, 2017, Merab had his UFC debut at UFC Fight Night. Swanson vs. Ortega, Merab was scheduled to fight against Frankie Saenz. Now, just like all his other debuts, Merab for some reason gets the jitters, gets a little nervous, and the fight wouldn't go his way. He'd lose by split decision in the end. He would come back April 21st of the next year of 2018, and he would have his match against Ricky Simon. Now, once again, Merab would lose the match. He would actually have a technical submission. He was guillotine choked in the match. Now, Merab is 0-2 in the UFC. His dream is right in front of him, and it's danger of crashing. Merab being a fighter he is, you know this guy's not going to give up. In his next matches, you're going to see the success he had. Since Merab's loss to Ricky Simon by guillotine choke in 2018, Merab will go on to have an impressive 11-fight win streak in the span of 4 years. In 10 out of these 11 fights, he actually won by unanimous decision, dominantly winning his matches. The only match he didn't win by unanimous decision, it was against Marlon Moraes on September 25th, 2021, where Merab won by TKO. Merab went on to have dominant performances. He turned his career around. And in these 11 matches, a lot of us know it includes the legend Jose Aldo. Merab won by unanimous decision on August of 2022. He fought against Peter Yan at a time where a lot of people were afraid to fight Peter Yan. He fought him, won by unanimous decision March 11, 2023. He then fought against the legend Henry Cejudo, where he recorded a record amount of takedowns against Henry Cejudo on February 17, 2024. Many even doubted Merab's wrestling skills against the Olympic champion. But Merab showed his high level of pedigree. You know, the famous scene where he even picked up Henry Cejudo in the match. And then he fought against his fake, funny arch nemesis, Sean O'Malley. Remember those construction videos back in the day? Merab used to have construction videos where his coworker would say, pretend it's Sean. And Merab would punch the wall, and Merab would make all those funny skits. Well, now he finally fought Sean O'Malley, and he dominated the champion. Merab had a dominant performance, went on to win his title. Merab's story is one to be inspired by in so many angles. As the Georgian journalist Georgi Kokiashvili highlighted in a Twitter post, Merab immigrated to the United States. He worked in construction for 7 years, working while training. And there was a point where he even faced immigration issues. His lawyer took payment from Merab, didn't show up when he was needed, disappeared on him. Merab lost his money. He was almost deported from the United States, but he kept on training, kept on fighting on. Merab, in a recent interview as well, a little while ago, he said he was once 1-2 in Ring of Combat. He was getting headaches. He considered quitting. He said, I'm 1-2 of Ring of Combat. What's going to happen when I go to the UFC? What's going to happen if I can't even be successful in Ring of Combat? He considered quitting. He considered just being, go back to construction full-time, becoming a contractor, giving jobs to other people and work during the days, rest at night, go out to restaurants. He considered that normal life. He did. But he quickly realized he was losing his motivation. He needed to get back into fighting. He missed that passion. And that's when he decided to give it his all. That's when his successful win streaks came in Ring of Combat until he was signed by the UFC. What separates Merab apart from other fighters It's his stamina. It's his work ethic. The man had to work so hard to get here. He's willing to work even harder to stay here. That's what's impressive. Everybody talks about it. That's why his name is The Machine. He has cardio like no other. He's able to attempt takedown after takedown after takedown. It seems like he just doesn't get tired. But when you watch some of these training videos, that's just why I put them in this video, you see why he has insane cardio. He's just working at it in training all the time in training. Whether it's takedowns, whether it's stand-up fighting, he goes from position to position, all intense training efforts. Merab is a fighter. That's who he is. He's Georgian. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like for more videos.
Hey, and take him down again. Hey, oh, he's going for you. Oh,